Welcome back to SQL Tutorials by Kash. Today we are going to be looking at part 6. This has to do with the SQL Insert Statement. My name is Kash Magal and this is being brought to you by SQL Server 2012 tutorial.com. So let's take a look at this. So SQL Insert Statement, this is primarily obviously used to add and insert data into a database table. The basic syntax for the insert command is as follows. You obviously start with the insert keyword. And a lot of people use the into clause. It's actually optional. You use that first, and then you can specify, the columns that you're trying to insert data into. If you are inserting data into the whole table, you do not need to specify the column list, but it's customary to add that in there. After that, you do need the values clause, that is required. Okay, and then pretty much you can use default values, expression. You can also in the next point it mentions that we can also use a subselect query with the insert clause. Now you may be wondering, what is a subselect? So basically the idea is, let's say you have another table, have the same structure as the first table, and you're trying to insert data, maybe all of the data or a subset of the data. You can do that. So you basically use an insert statement with a subselect, and we'll show you examples of this in a few minutes here. Now for today's demo, we are using SQL Server 2012 Enterprise Edition. That is pretty much what we have been using in our other demos. So let's continue with this. Now, as far as the insert statement examples, let me change that to apologize. We are going to be showing you some examples here. Now, before we get going, I do want to mention our website. First, let me just quickly highlight that. So the website is SQL Server 2012 tutorial.com. We have different training products in here. So please check us out. We actually do have some sample video training that you can download as well. If you actually click on this link here, this should take you to a different page. And we have a bunch of resources for you. So definitely check that out. As far as for today's lesson, we are going to be using Northwind database, which is a sample database from Microsoft. It's really been around long time, and you'll see lots of videos on that on YouTube. We primarily use either this one or AdventureWorks database in our demos. Now specifically today, we are going to be working with 3 tables. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to insert a record into the regions table. After that, we are going to be working with the shippers table. I'll highlight how to insert data without specifying columns, and then I will show you how to do the same thing with the specific columns. Now the catch is going to be for this second table, as that we do have an identity column. What that basically means is that it's an auto increment field where the primary key gets updated. Let's say you start with 1, the next record is going to be 2, 3, 4, and 5, and so on and so forth. So you do have to work with it a little bit. There's a identity insert command that I'll show you, and then finally in the last section we are going to show you how to insert data into customers table using a subselect. And again, like I mentioned, this one really uses the data from the secondary table and inserts into the primary table. Alright, so now, like I mentioned, we are going to switch to Management Studio. This is running a SQL 2012 edition, Enterprise Edition. If I expand my database, I just want to make sure we are indeed recording. You'll see a few databases here, including HR, Northwind, and whatnot. If I expand the Northwind databases, you will see that here are tables. I have copies of some of these tables, but let's go down to regions table, okay? And if I open this up, currently we only have looks like 4 records. Okay, it's a small table. We got a region ID, and then we have the region description. Okay, so let's do that. I'm actually I think I have I kind of started working on this, so for some of the demos I get the scripts ready today. I figured I can actually show you, walk you through steps one by one. So let's go get into this. So like I said, I need to insert a table into the region table, and I'm going to do this without specifying any column and field names, okay? So before I get going, let me just do a select star from region. Okay, so I think I'm in the wrong database here, so let me switch to Northwind. And so if I do this, like I mentioned already, we only have really two columns in here. So okay, so the insert statement is going to be pretty simple. Let's do this. Insert into, okay, well, what do we need next? We need to specify the table, right? And then we need to go values. Now, since this is already, we already have a 4, I can put a 5 in here, I guess. And then let's just go ahead and type in Southwest, because I miss Arizona. I used to live out there. Now I live in Texas, which is not bad. But anyway, so what did I do? I just said insert into the table, okay? The term values, value for the first field, and then value for the second field, okay? Let's go ahead and try to execute this. Alright, so it's giving me error, which means that I need to fix this second field. So this one's an easy fix. All really we need here is, we'll put a single quote right here, single quote right here, and then we will retry this. Now when we go ahead and execute this, this does indeed add a record. It says one row affected. The real test is to, again, do a select star and then see. You'll notice that we just added a record in here, okay? Now, you could do the same thing. Let me add another record in here actually. This time what I'm going to show you is I'm actually going to specify the fields, okay? So the first field is region ID, second one is region description, okay? I will go ahead and change this to 6. Let's make this Northwest. Okay, so really all we did in this one is just added the fields, okay? So when I highlight it, run it, now I just added another record, okay? Now if I do a select star here, you should have 6 records, okay? So same effect, again, adding fields here and did not add fields here. The key here is that, if you do not specify fields, you have to make sure that you're adding a value in every single column, okay? So that's that, and then that was my first table. The next one's going to be the shippers table. This is going to be slightly complicated, okay? And the reason for that is because of this identity insert, okay? And we'll get through that. So let's just go back here, okay? Let me go ahead and save this. Alright, so into the shippers table again. Let's do this first. Let's do a select star. Excuse me. Alright, so it looks like we have 3 records in there, right? So let's do this first. I'm going to insert, and this time actually I'm just going to type shippers, because the into clause, like I mentioned, is it's optional, okay? And then I'm going to say values. Let's try 4 comma USPS, and I don't think that really the phone number matters, but let me try this anyway. Again, because this is the text information, you have to specify some quotes around that. Okay, let's change this one here. Let's see what happens when I try to run it. So here's the problem. See, it says an explicit value for identity column cannot be specified, and you have to use this guy, this identity insert option. What that basically means is, let me actually maybe let me do this first. I can show you in the table. Let's go into the shippers table, right? Go to the columns, and let's double click on shipper ID. Now if you come down here, these are all the different fields, okay? Notice this field here, it says this option here, it says identity is equal to true. It's starting at 1 and it's incrementing by 1. What that basically means, okay, in layman's terms, is that the only way you can add a value in there if you're trying to override, the auto increment value is to use this option, okay? And so the way you do this is you do set insert identity and then the table, which is what? Shippers and then to on, okay? What that means is that I'm going to override, okay, the mechanism that's built in, right? Okay, so in theory, let's break this into separate parts. So first I'm going to come up here and use this command, okay? And then I'm going to use, actually, I'm sorry, we're just going to use the same one here, okay? So I'm just going to, because this one already failed. Now I'm saying, okay, I'm going to add this value and see what happens. Alright, so it didn't like that. Oh, okay, so it's telling me something else now. It can only be specified when a column list is inserted. So these were the things that I knew these already, but I'm trying to show you this because as you're working with the insert statement, okay, you are going to run into this problem basically, okay? So what that means is that I actually need to specify the column names, okay? So let's do that. So shipper ID, comma, company name, comma, phone, okay? And the reason we're doing this is because it's saying that anytime you use this option, you have to specify the columns. Okay, fine, we can deal with that. All right, so again, this is similar to what we had up here. The key is that now I actually have the column names in there. So I'm hoping third time is a charm here. So let's hold on and see what works. Okay, so that worked. So now it says one row inserted, and again, if you need to verify it, you need to do a select star from shippers, and there should be a fourth record in here. Boom. Okay. All right. Well, that's great. I mean, that's one way to get around the identity insert issue. Another way to get around this is to skip this column and let SQL Server manage it, right? So in other words,